Picture a scene. Jerusalem, the major city in a fairly small and insignificant country, preparing for a major feast, a major celebration. We're not allowed to gather in groups right now, but I want you to take a moment and think about a big gathering that you've been at. Maybe a sporting event, a major festival, maybe here at home, maybe in a foreign country. Think about the energy, the excitement, the people, what they look like, the smells, that mixture of being excited about what's about to happen and maybe a bit tired from traveling. This was Jerusalem, the festival of the Passover, the major festival in the calendar year when the people celebrated how they were once enslaved by a foreign empire, and they cried to God, and God set them free from slavery and brought them to the promised land. Passover in Jerusalem. The temple was preparing for all the pilgrims coming to make sacrifice. The vendors were preparing. The places where people could stay were preparing. Everybody was getting ready for this really exciting major time. And overseeing it all were the Romans, because the people were once again ruled by a foreign empire. And the fact that they were allowing this major festival to happen, this celebration of freedom from enslavement by a ruling power, well, it was kind of a big deal. So, into all of this frenzy and fear and uncertainty and celebration, Jesus rides in on a donkey, just like the Messiah is supposed to. And the people go crazy. They're so excited. This is the fulfillment of their hopes. And so they yell, "Hosanna, Hosanna." They pull branches off the trees and spread it in front of him. They take off their coats and their cloaks and they wave them and they spread it in front of him. And they yell, "Hosanna, welcome, praise, Hosanna, save us, save us." This is the major human celebration that we remember on Palm Sunday. And I think it is one of the most human dates in our liturgical calendar because it's so easy to identify. The mob that goes from "Hosanna, Hosanna, save us," turns to crucify him. Crucify him. And we might be able to stand back and say, "Oh, no, I would never do anything like that. I would be the one who stands strong to my beliefs. I would never. And yet, when the mob turns, when the crowd leads, how easy is it to stand on your convictions? How hard is it not to follow? I watched with a mixture of interest and mild amusement when the COVID-19 became a reality that we understood was not just some bug somewhere else, but was a real and present danger. People started flocking to the grocery stores to stock up on toilet paper. And I was thinking, why on earth, if you have to go and spend time in quarantine or you're stocking up to make sure you have enough of something, why not food? Why not water? Why not medicines? Why not chocolate? Why toilet paper? And so much of it, the people were getting 4 and 5 of those big, massive things from Costco. And I think it would probably take months or at least a year to go through it all. Why were people stocking up on toilet paper? But I have to confess that I actually went and counted in our pantry how much toilet paper we had. And sure, we have enough for at least a month or probably more. But I felt this huge sense of relief when Beth ventured out to Costco a week ago and came home with this massive thing of toilet paper. And I thought, oh, okay, we're going to be okay. And so I started thinking, well, what is it about toilet paper? And I thought about how vulnerable you feel if you are the person who follows the person who has emptied the last of the roll of toilet paper and didn't replace it, and you're sitting there. It's a very, very vulnerable feeling, especially if you're out in a public restroom. You can't just holler for someone in the family to come and bring you some more. And I realized that's how we're feeling. We're feeling really vulnerable. We're feeling really vulnerable. And it's not the ruling Romans. It's a virus that doesn't discriminate based on religion or age or gender or race or socioeconomic status. So we're feeling really vulnerable. And so there's a real tie-in to the Palm Sunday story, that it's easy to go from, no, I would never do that, to following the crowds because you're scared. Palm Sunday is the beginning of Holy Week. This is our Holy Week. This is how we enter into Holy Week. We can't gather together to celebrate. So we have to figure out new ways of doing things, because our world is changing. Our world is changing. And that is really scary. Our world has changed for now. Just think about how often you go out, or where you go out, or where you can even go out. Everything's closed. The libraries, the restaurants, the stores are closed. We go to the grocery store, and you have that distancing you have to enforce. And I went to the drugstore, and there's masks and shields and tables in front of the cash. And so the world is very, very different now. And it will be very, very different when this is all over. We can't even imagine how our world is going to be. And that's scary. But we are the people of the resurrection. And we have faith that what is on the other side of our life now, our changes now, our fear now, what is on the other side is new and transformed life. And we don't know what it will look like, but it won't look like what we've always known before. We just have to have faith that there will be resurrection, that there will be transformation, that there will be life new and unimaginable on the other side. Jesus told the priests and the scribes who tried to silence the crowd that even if they managed to silence the people, the rocks and stones themselves would start to sing. We are but one part of God's creation, God's beloved creation that God has called very good. And we will hope with the rocks and the stones and the fish in the sea and the birds in the air and the trees and the plants that on the other side of this pandemic, this world-changing event, there will be new life. New, unimagined, unfamiliar, but life. God-infused life. And so, yes, this is a scary time. People are afraid. We're afraid for our health. We're afraid for people that we love. We're afraid for our incomes. We're afraid for the future. And we can feel afraid. And we will live all of that with faith in how God will be with us through it all. God's not going to save us from it, but God will be with us through it all, and God will be on the other side. And now we have to live with faith as defined in Hebrews 11, Now, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. So, this Palm Sunday, this Holy Week, walk through it with faith. Faith in the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. And walk through it knowing that you do not walk alone. We will connect. We will find new ways to connect and to care for each other. And God is with us. We are not alone. May God comfort our fear and strengthen our faith, especially in these days when we enter into a Holy Week that is so different from anything we've known before. And may we walk through it in faith that the resurrection is on the other side. Thanks be to God. Amen.